Welcome back for another episode of 10-Minute Drawing Techniques. This is episode 13 on posing with your host, Mark Chung. If you'd like to comment on these series, then and you ask questions and whatnot, come and visit us at 10minutedrawing.blogspot.com. And I greatly appreciate everyone's comments so far, and I've noticed that a lot of people have been posting. They've been posting links to this on their blogs and on their website and on some of the other forums, and I'm greatly flattered. It's really nice to know that people are looking forward to these, and it helps me to look forward to making these episodes. So anyway, let's begin. Oops. Here we go. Okay, so this episode on posing. First of all, before I go and just jump into posing, the thing about posing is that it is about, taking a person and trying to figure out, how are you going to arrange the arms and legs and the head, and trying to understand, how everything is supposed to be, organized in perspective and position. And it's not an easy one-shot deal. It's not the kind of thing where you can just sort of write down 10 easy steps and just, follow them, because there are so many different poses and so many different, the thing about it, it's not so much just posing, this is really acting. And, when you're drawing a person, when you're drawing a figure, when you do figure drawing, figures are usually people, and they're from life. And, when you go out in public to draw in public and you see people, you observe them, you have to ask yourself, well, I like to ask myself 3 questions. The first one is, what are they doing? Are they running, baking a cake, rolling a pizza out? How are they doing it? The thing about running is that there's so many different ways. You can be running, you can be sprinting, you can be dashing. You can be running. There's also an emotional factor. You can be running scared. You can be running, running in anger. You can be running in disgust. There's so many ways that you can deal with running. A lot of that will actually be reflected in the upper body of the person, and why is the person doing it that way? What's the motivation for them to run that particular way or walk that way, or when a person there's so many, like when you slam your fist on the table, you could be slamming your fist on the table out of anger, that seems to be the obvious one, or you can be doing it because you're just so darn, someone told you a really funny joke and you're cracking up and you're busting your gut, and and you're just trying to release the energy, So that's the thing. So ask yourself 3 questions. What is the person doing? How are they doing it, and why are they doing it that way? We'll take a situation. Okay, how about a person who's running in fear? Okay, we'll have a person who's running in fear, and let's say here's a good example. Okay, he's running out of a room. All right, we'll start with a room. We'll start with a doorway, really. Okay, good. And this is the basics of storytelling. Being able to do more than just show someone who's running. This is where things are no longer just generic. We do things for a purpose. This is everything is purpose driven when you draw. Okay. So a little slice of life. Guy running from a room. First thing I'll do is that, because it's a run, this is a dynamic pose, I'm going to put his head far forward of his feet, because this way there's no way in heck that a person won't stand, with his head this far out of balance of his foot, because he's going to fall over. But a person will run this way. Whenever you're running, you have to, you have to shift the balance. Now he's out of balance and he's falling forward, but the thing that makes it a run rather than him just falling flat on his face is the fact that he's going to catch himself with his feet, with his legs. Let's have some fun with this. Oh, that's the 5-minute mark. Let's put his head over here. He's running from something, obviously. And let's put his elbows high up over his head. Good. And now I'll just find some way to connect everything. As you can see, I'm not really bothering to put in much detail. It's just not necessary at this point in time, especially since the pose itself might wind up changing. So there's no sense in throwing in excess anatomical detail because, you know, we might redraw this. When you're doing thumbnails for our storyboards, what matters most is that, well, a storyboard should tell a story rather than having a nice illustration. There's our nice little frying pan, and maybe a good old hee. Now's where you get to use your perspective, that's right. Rolling pin. What else will you find in the kitchen? A cheese grater. Maybe the odd spoon can caroom off of them. Bonk. And of course, as with any lever stat, there's always words. Okay, so as you can see, a very simple story, you know, pose that was just made for the purpose, you know, it's the way I drew it. This is just one way I can go about it. There's other ways you can do this, but the important thing is to remember that it's not necessarily, you know, step by step and arbitrary. You'll have to find your own ways of your own step-by-step approach for each situation. Whether a person is running in terror, running in fear, that kind of thing. Anyway, it looks like we're running out of time. I think I'm going to do another one of these in the next episode. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Next episode's coming right up.